Welcome to the Empty House. I am Jacob Dickman,
And I'm Jorge Gamboa.
and we're your hosts of the Empty House. Before we get into that and what the Empty House is, we're just going to introduce ourselves, who we are, what we do, how we ended up here, just little stuff like that. So, I'm Jacob Dickman. I was born and raised Catholic in a little town called Sandusky, Ohio. If you've ever heard of it, you probably haven't, but you've probably heard of Cedar Point, and that's where I am from. And so, born and raised there, lived there until I was 18. Then when I was 18, I finished high school and started working. Also went to college, but I kind of fizzled out after like 2 months because your boy didn't like school, so just didn't want to do that. So started working at a movie theater. Did that for a little while. Became a summer missionary with Life Teen International down in Dahlonega, Georgia, in the summer of 2014. And that led me back to Ohio after that summer, puzzled and really confused on what the heck I was supposed to do in my life. And that completely just changed and opened some other stuff. And so I started discerning full-time missions with Life Teen again. But before I did that, I started working at Marco's Pizza on top of the movie theater gig. And did work two part-time jobs doing that from 2014 until I got accepted to the full-time missionary program in summer of 2015. After I did that, I quit both my jobs, moved to another small town in Georgia called Tiger, Georgia, where I met this young lad. And we served as missionaries together, lived in the same house, IHS for life, and did that for a year. After that, I became the campus minister at Cardinal Church Catholic High School in Oregon, Ohio, working with middle school and high school students specifically, but also did a little bit with the little kids, as well as founded my own youth group at St. Jerome Catholic Church in Walbridge, Ohio, called One Purpose, with some other people from the parish there. And after that, I kind of burnt out of my faith a little bit and just kind of went different ways, kind of struggled with God. And so I told the Lord I am joining the military. And so I joined the United States Navy, and he definitely did not want me to. But he is a loving father, and he allowed me to go. And so I joined the Navy in order to be a machinist mate, submarine guy, and I didn't even make it through boot camp. And so I left that even more broken than when I went in. Came back, faith went kind of through the gutter, and that led me to be a carpenter, to go back to school, trying to do police academy and fire academy, all the other things that go along with military service that weren't military service. And the Lord was like, hey, stop doing that. I told you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a youth minister. You're supposed to be a high school teacher. You're supposed to be somewhere in ministry. And I ran from it. But up until that point, I decided to just give it a go and just trust the Lord. And so I applied to this random school in Steubenville, Ohio, going to Franciscan University of Steubenville. Go Barons. And that's currently where I'm at in current day of 2019 as a freshman who is 23 years old, which is very, very humbling. And yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me and where I'm from, how I got here, in a very fast-paced environment.
All right.
That's Jorge.
So, yep, my name's Jorge, originally born in Los Angeles, and I just have one sister. It's just the two of us. And
Daisy's pretty great.
Daisy is amazing. Fun person. Very funny. And short. Funny stories about her. But I won't say any. And I was baptized Catholic, not raised Catholic, moved to Georgia. And it was a huge change from big, huge city to a small town in the south. Eventually started going to a bunch of different religions and just trying to figure out what home was or where God was, and eventually found that in the Catholic Church and never left. Eventually in high school, my junior year, my dad passed away, and then that led me to just go until be like, all right, well, I need to figure out what it means to be a man. So I tried to join the military because most men that I would think in my mind were like super manly men would go do that. So I was like, I'm gonna go do that. And so I went, applied, did really good on the ASVAB, went to MEPS, and I was at the last stage before you go swearing. I'm pretty sure. I went to the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, everything's great. Anything you want to add?" And I told them something that I told my recruiter, and he said that's fine. So don't worry about it. She pulled out a massive binder, said you're disqualified. So you can bring me a letter saying that you're fine. I did. That really didn't ever get processed, I guess. I'm still here. And then after that, started going to find other manly things to do. Went to construction, to be an electrician, did a little bit of carpentry. Eventually applied to be a summer missionary at Camp Piddle Lake in Dahlonega. And it was an amazing summer, amazing men that I met there. Joined full-time missions, did that for a year with Jacob. Got a second year as a house leader at Cove Crest in Tiger, Georgia. And then I did a third year in Charleston with the diocesan missionary team over there. And they're amazing as well, doing a lot of work. A lot of work, literally. It's the entire state is the diocese. So I got to know South Carolina pretty good.
It's a
And
great place.
after that, I moved back to Georgia. And then before I went to fire school, before I started it, actually, I started fire school. And then I think 2 weeks later, I proposed. So I'm engaged right now. And then
Making moves.
making moves. And then I got to almost finish. I'm almost done with fire school right now. I graduate March 14th. And I'm certified as firefighter right now with Firefighter 1, Hazmat Ops and Awareness. And just trying to see what department I can get in right now. But I'm over here in Ohio. Came to visit fiance's family. They have a podcast that eventually I'll mention on here. And they're a really cool family. And as well, Jacob's up here, so he finally got me to come visit him in Ohio.
Been trying for 3 long years to get him to come to Ohio. And then you know what got him here? A frickin' girl.
Hey, you know, God
Most
works in
men.
mysterious ways. But yeah, so I'm finally up here. But now I'm going to explain to you guys how we got the whole name for the empty house. So if you have a Bible, you know, one of these right here, may not look like this, but that's fine.
The Bible's a Bible.
Bible's Bible. Just open that guy up if you want. Matthew 12, verses 43 to 45. I'm paraphrasing, so if you're like, man, this isn't what he's saying, it's because I'm just paraphrasing.
And not reading the actual
I'm
scripture.
not actually reading, I'm just paraphrasing it. So, talks about Jesus is with the Pharisees, and he gives them a couple parables, and then eventually it gets to this one, where he talks about how the demon is in a house, the house being a human, and leaves or is cast out by Jesus, and just leaves and tries to find somewhere else to go, doesn't really find anywhere, goes back to the house, the human, and finds that everything is now empty, neat, clean, and well kept, and everything's in order. And so he's like, all right, you know what, I'm going to go find 7 other demons that are way worse than me, and we're going to mess up this dude's life. It was already bad, we're going to make it worse. And basically saying, like, you know, this is the evil generation, and that's why that happened. And with that, just talking about how the Pharisees thought they were like the coolest kids on the block, and like they could do no wrong, but ultimately their house, like their souls within, like them, they were empty. Like they had nothing. They were, yes, it was well kept and everything was clean, but they had nothing that would sustain that, nothing that would keep them going. And so it was easy for the evil to come back. And with that, Jesus was trying to tell them, like, you need to have like compassion, like mercy, love, justice. Like you need to have things in your home that are going to be good for you, that keep the good going and keep the evil away. And with that, with both of us, you know, we would always be in missions like, you know, do you really want to ask us? Because we both have not the best past. But with that, that's why the empty house is so good for us, because we know those times where, oh, our house is kept, it's clean, we're fine.
We were the living empty house.
Yeah, and then we'd see how bad it'd get.
Tidy
Like,
on the
oh
outside
damn.
and chaotic on the inside. It was just like a tornado came through and just kind of threw things around.
Yeah, and the whole thing with that is like being able to, yeah, it looks clean from the outside, but as well cleaning the inside, but not filling it with things. And through our years and our experiences, good and bad, we've been able to fill the things that we need in our lives, and as well with keeping up with each other and having that brotherhood and keeping in contact with other people in our lives that help check us in different ways. We find the ways to ensure that we are still doing good and every day saying yes.
And so, like, what is the point? What's our goal? What are we trying to do here with this whole idea of the empty house? We're simply just trying to show that we're just two dudes striving for sainthood through our broken lens that the Lord tries to restore as long as we allow Him to. Like Jorge was saying, we both don't have the best track records of having that tidy house. But we're striving for it. We're striving to be better men. He makes me a better guy each and every day. We're in constant communication all the time, just trying to be better men. But we would just want to share our own experiences about life to you guys through the various ways that the Lord's encountered us. I was typically the douchebag in middle school, high school, just trying to do anything and everything I could that got me in trouble, whether that meant fighting, spending a lot of time in suspension, detention, throwing a book at the teacher. There was really nothing that was too far-fetched for me, and it was definitely rough times in my life, but they made me the man I am today through my experiences in that, and it was just really cool that the Lord kind of just took all that and said, I really don't care about any of that. I'm going to love you anyway. And so we just want to share that love that the Father gives us through our own experiences. And Jorge can kind of attest to his own little shindig in the same way.
Yeah, we're both, like we said, just very similar in our past and everything, but as well very different. I would always be the kid that got away with a lot of things. Never anybody would ever suspect that I did anything. Even today, most people won't believe if I do something. I'm really quiet, shy, keep to myself. Once you get to know me, apparently I don't shut up and a bunch of other stuff. But I mean, I don't know about that. I think I'm pretty quiet. I still my normal voice sounds loud. People are like, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" I'm like, feels like I'm screaming over here. Like right now, I feel like I'm talking so loud.
This is
Jorge
on 400% volume right now.
This is probably like normal, and my whisper. You probably need to like wear a hearing aid to hear my whisper because my whisper is super low. But I'm gonna tell you as well, guys, just some topics that we're gonna be hitting, and as well, Jacob will tell you some more stuff at the end. So some of the topics that we were talking about and really felt passionate about were just like the importance of brotherhood. Obviously, we can't do sisterhood because we're not women, so we can't do that. Potentially, might be able to find two girls that could do a talk on that.
Yeah, we might have some guest appearances here and there, just kind of help us out and like generalizing our ideas, making them come out a little bit better.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk, everyone has a wound. Healing, sometimes when you go to the doctor and let's say if your bone is broken, you go, he's going to have to set it, but you really don't want to give him that because it's going to hurt. And all he's trying to do is make you better, but ultimately how with healing, though we don't want to go through it because of the pain it's going to cause us, but the importance of that. And then we're going to talk about joy and the main thing of joy versus happiness. Unhesitating obedience, which is a big thing for both of us at the camp that we lived in, because and that's not like it was like a horrible place. We love that we were put there because that helped us so much. Talking about discipline and dying to self, the road to being Catholic. So more in depth of both of our journeys in being Catholic. Fun versus fun. This way, fun of what people actually say. It's weird looking at the camera and trying to do it. And then how Jesus isn't your drug dealer, which is a huge topic. of that. It just sticks out to me because I've always heard it. And then there's a girl captain from one of my summers that was big on that too, and how that was important for her. That you don't see Jesus as your drug dealer, because I've never met one named Jesus. I've met plenty of drug dealers, but none of them were named Jesus. Scripture that spoke to us on major things, and then fight or flight. Do we fight for our salvation, or is it just enough being a good person? And then we're going to talk about our B goals, and not like a dog, because that's what it might sound like I'm saying. But B, and then goals.
Like a soccer goal.
Yeah, like a soccer goal. Be a soccer goal. Take out soccer. So B goals. And the importance of that. And we'll talk a little bit about it right now, but we're going to go way more in depth in a later video. But for me, my B goal my first mission year was be a man, because it was something that stuck out to me a lot, especially in 2015. Jimmy Mitchell gave a talk at Hidden Lake, and he said Estovir, and he explained it in such a way that I was like, man, that is speaking so much to me, because I was trying to figure out what it meant to be a man. I was surrounded by all these super holy dudes, feeling not worthy, and then I forgot what he said, but it hit me in that moment. It's probably in a journal somewhere, and it just stuck with me. And so my first year, I was like, all right, if I have a B goal, like I really want to learn what it means to be a man, but after God's heart. And so that was for me.
Yeah, and my B goal, lo and behold, was be disciplined. That was a word that I never thought I was. I never listened to any authority. All I knew was discipline, but in the bad way. I never knew that you could discipline your bodies and mind, in strength, in spirit. I didn't know that that was even the case. So my B goal, what I strive to do, was to be disciplined in anything that I did. I wanted to be disciplined in my schedule. I wanted to be disciplined in what I ate. I wanted to be disciplined in anything and everything of my life. And it was definitely really hard. It was definitely really trying. But through multiple years, I finally can say that I feel like I've kind of accomplished my B goal of being disciplined. But it's a daily fight. Just because I feel disciplined right now doesn't mean I'm gonna be disciplined tomorrow. I might be really lazy tomorrow and actually just throw it all away. That's not gonna be the case. I'm gonna fight every day to be disciplined, to fight that good fight, to be a better man, to estovir, because that was our house motto when we were full-time missionaries, just to be men of God and to express that. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we're just doing here. We just want to be a lens for people to just see, maybe hear things in a different way. But kind of our catchphrase is, we're just two broken dudes striving for sainthood. And we want to express that through all of our life experiences, our testimonies, these various talks that we kind of really feel really called to share our down-to-earth, non-theological inputs on. And so we just kind of want to share that with you guys. And so we hope that you tell your friends about us, that you share us on Instagram, share us on Facebook, share us on Twitter, just to get the word out that we're just two dudes who literally decided one night a few weeks ago, hey, we should do a video blog about life. And that's kind of blossomed in this whole idea of the empty house, and just how can we love the Lord and better ourselves through our own relationship with God. And this is just that for us. This is a way for us to express our own relationships with God to other people. Obviously, we're definitely Catholic, but this can be for anyone, just any person who just wants to be a better person, because all these things are attainable. They're not something that's far-fetched or anything like that. So feel free to DM us. Feel free to message us, just to talk to us. If you have any suggestions on stuff you guys want to hear, feel free to reach out. You can follow us at the Empty House 27 on Instagram. Sorry, I almost forgot about that. And then
if you find a Twitter or Facebook, let me know, because we haven't made that. So it's not us.
Yeah, if you're following them, yeah, good luck because you ain't gonna hear anything from Jorge
not
or I.
us.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so thanks for listening, and we will get you guys on the next one when we talk about discipline.
Yep.